Welcome back everyone. We're going to be doing a quick, actually it's going to be a pretty in-depth comparison between the newly released iPhone SE 2020 and the kind of somewhat not really that old, but just kind of got released, but it's pretty new design iPhone XS Max. Now this might seem like a weird comparison, but for some reason a lot of people like older phones or older design phones or cheaper phones compared to the iPhone XS Max, and I did one compared to the iPhone 11 versus the XS Max. That one got a lot of views, so I guess we're going to do this one. Now before I get too far into this, I'm doing an iPhone SE2 giveaway. I'm giving one of these away, the product red one. If you guys want to enter, follow me on Twitter and Instagram and subscribe to the channel. I'll be picking the winner on May 8th, so all the links are down in the description if you want to enter that, but if you want to follow me there. But the iPhone SE 2020, a good thing about it is the price tag, one of its biggest selling points. It's costing $400 to pick up or $399, and that's not a crazy ton of money. I mean, it's kind of a lot still, but for a brand new phone, that's a really good price. You can go into the Apple store, you can go on apple.com and purchase it from there, which is really cool. However, the iPhone XS Max does not cost that $1,000 or $1,100 when it first came out. It's costing about $520 on Amazon. So you can pick up this phone for about that price, less than $550. So there's only about $100 to $150 price tag difference in the used market between both of these phones. So if you look at them, it might look like these phones are completely different leagues. This one looks like the crazy, way more expensive, but it is slightly expensive, but it's not that much more if you guys know what I mean. So I'll leave both of these linked down below for the cheapest prices that I'll find on Amazon, so you can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now looking on the front, the iPhone SE 2020 has that 4.7-inch Retina IPS panel. It's 750 by 1334, and it has True Tone. It's not bad at all. I definitely do think, with the newer designs that we have, they're looking more like the XS Max than the SE2. I don't think this is a bad looking phone by any means. Like I've said before, I think more people would look at this and be like, oh, you have an older designed iPhone, not necessarily you have an older iPhone. And now with the SE2 coming out, people might just assume that you have the latest SE2, especially if you put it in a case. So I think for the majority of people, I think if they're going to spend this much for a phone, I think they're going to be okay with this type of design. I don't think the design is the one thing, especially the screen. I don't think that's one thing they're going to freak out about. However, keep in mind, it does have quite a bit of bezel around the display versus the iPhone XS Max with that 6.5-inch Super Retina OLED display. It's 1242 by 2688, that's the resolution, and this panel is seriously extremely good. I'm choking up just thinking about it. Now you do have Force Touch on this panel too, which is nice, but you still have haptic feedback on this panel, which is not that bad either. And definitely between these two, the XS Max is for sure the winner. I mean, you're getting a bigger panel, and even if that's not your forte, even if you don't like that, you have to admit that the XS Max has the better looking panel. And side by side, the brightness is a little bit lower on the XS Max, so it might seem like the SE2's is better, but for sure when I'm looking at them side by side, the XS Max has the better looking panel. So between both the SE 2020, it's still a good looking phone, but the XS Max definitely wins in terms of the screen resolution. They have lightning ports on the bottom, so nothing really crazy there. And on the back, glass backs on both. I do have a skin on my XS Max though. And the glass, would feel about the same. They're almost exact same glass, but a dual camera setup on the XS Max, but a single camera setup on the SE2. Is it a crazy difference? Maybe, maybe not. We'll get into the camera comparison. I'll talk about it then, but really in terms of that, that's pretty much it on the outside. The SE2 is definitely much smaller than the XS Max. Another quick thing to note, the SE2 has IP67 dust and water resistance. The XS Max has IP68 dust and water resistance, so you can go up to 2 meters of water here for 30 minutes, only 1 meter of water for 30 minutes here. So not an amazingly crazy difference, but something to keep in mind. So in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it. Now hitting on the software, the XS Max started off with iOS 12. We are able to get iOS 13.4 on it, and it runs iOS 13 perfectly fine. I mean, it's still a very capable phone, a very fast phone. With the iPhone SE2 started off with iOS 13, and it started off with iOS 13. It's not getting, iOS 12, it didn't start off there or anything like that. So theoretically, the SE2 should outlast the XS Max, mostly because of that chipset inside. We have a newer chipset on this phone, which, if you look at them, it doesn't really look like it. This phone looks like way newer, but it's not. So this phone should theoretically outlast this phone in terms of the software lifecycle, but it shouldn't be by that much. You know what I mean? Like this one will still last super long, and this one will still last super long. So I don't think one is going to secretly outlast the other by a crazy amount. But if one had to, the SE2 would probably outlast the XS Max, which is pretty crazy. There is technically a jailbreak out for the XS Max if you're interested in that stuff, but it's not the checkering jailbreak. It's that, I think, the uncovered jailbreak. I don't know if I had it on here or not. But you have to be between iOS 13 and 13.3, so The SE2 does not fall under that, so that pretty much covers up the software variant thing. Now let's go ahead on the specs, and I'll do a little bit of a speed test, but I'll be doing a separate speed test between these two, hopefully within like 2 weeks from now, so keep it locked down on the channel so you guys don't miss that. But the iPhone XS Max has that Apple A12 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and 3 different models with 4 gigs of RAM. Keep that in mind. With the SE2 has the A13 Bionic chip, hexa-core CPU, and 3 gigs of RAM. So an extra gig of RAM on here. Now I won't be testing the RAM in this video, I'll be doing it in a different one. So again, once that happens, I'll go and let you guys know. And I'll leave the full speed test and everything and camera test that I do in the description below so you guys can look from there and don't have to search through my channel. So let's go and do a little bit of a speed test. Okay, let's go and load up all these apps in the background, or cancel all these apps in the background. Let's do the App Store. 3, 2, 1. And SE2 was able to load into that faster. As you can see scrolling through, yeah, definitely that's way faster on that device. Phone call, okay, they're about the same. Let's go and load up apple.com or so, or we'll load up Bing or something. 3, 2, 1. And this one was technically the XS Max was able to load into that faster, just because it was able to get into that little app faster. Let's start loading up these third-party apps. Let's do Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And SE2 able to get into that way faster. Let's do Facebook, 3, 2, 1. Again, SE2 way faster into it. Doodle Jump, 3, 2, 1. And again, SE2 able to get into that faster. Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And look at that, way able to get into that faster. My English is all broken today. And it seemed a little smoother too, in my opinion, you know. Stack, 3, 2, 1. That one was pretty close. I'm not really too sure which one was way ahead in that one. Snake versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And definitely the SE2 was faster. Let's get into some gameplay. Oh, I switched out on that one, but yeah, they're going to be about the same. It's pretty low intensive game. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. SE2 again, the faster one between those two. Quizlet, 3, 2, 1. Again, SE2 is faster. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And it's looking like the SE2 is going to be faster. And even the XS Max kind of glitched up in the beginning with. Yeah, I think the SE2 is going to be the faster one between both those for sure. Instagram, 3, 2, 1. I was actually loaded up into here, okay. We can do the original Temple Run, 3, 2, 1. And they both were in a game, but the SE2 was able to load into that one faster for sure. Let's end it off with Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. And definitely the SE2 is the faster one. Eventually we'll get into it on the XS Max, but yeah, for sure the SE2 was the faster one between both those. And XS Max is still loading. The SE2 does a really good job on these, higher intensive games for some reason, which I'm really impressed about. With a lot of other apps, they weren't really like the crazy difference, but between these two, definitely for sure. So in the speed test comparison, I'll definitely say the XS Max was still a fast phone, but the SE2 definitely beat it, which is surprising kind of looking at these two. You would think the XS Max would win, but nope. The SE2 was the fast one between both those. So like I said with the speed test, I'll be doing a whole separate one for the camera test as well, but I'll briefly hit on them in this video. All cameras on these phones are 12 megapixels, so a single 12 megapixel camera here and a dual 12 megapixel sensor here. Now with the XS Max, you have that ability of doing the telephoto lens, which is really cool. Now the SE2's camera might be a little bit cooler, might have that A13 chip and have more, machine learning aspects to it. But at the end of the day, I believe more camera sensors are ultimately better than less. And even if the camera quality was slightly better on the SE2, which it's not, they're both like almost exactly the same, I would still side with the XS Max because of the multiple camera sensors. You have more ability on this camera than you do on this one. So I'd probably end up siding with the XS Max in the long run. On the front, 7 megapixel sensors on both as well, so you're getting, almost the same type of camera sensors, but ultimately you're getting the better camera sensor, in my opinion, on the XS Max. I'm going to end it off with the battery life. You have your 1,821 milliamp hour battery on the iPhone SE2, and the XS Max you have a 3,174 milliamp hour battery. And for sure, between both of these, the XS Max is going to have the better battery life. The battery life on both those phones weren't like crazily amazing. The XS Max though definitely would have better battery life between these two for sure. But the SE2's battery life, you have wireless charging on both. The only thing is that the SE2's battery life is substantially smaller than the XS Max, and even though the XS Max has a bigger and brighter screen, it still doesn't help with the fact that, the XS Max has that bigger size battery. So for sure, at the end of the day, I would side with the XS Max. Now, to kind of sum up the video, man, if you could choose between one of these, I think the choice is clear. I think I would probably, if you're okay with buying a certified refurbished phone or whatever, the iPhone XS Max is going to be the better way to go for sure. The SE2, it still has a lot of value and it's still a tremendous phone, but I just think for the price that you're paying for it, I think you might just be better off if you just get a XS Max and spend a little bit more money, because this phone definitely has that more timeless design. You're getting a better screen, better cameras, better feeling phone, I think, better battery life by a little bit, versus, a brand new phone. This phone is faster, but both these phones are super fast at the end of the day, so I'll let you guys be the judge, but that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.